everyone, Shavua Tov, and we are in Parashat Ki-Tetse. Ki-Tetse למלחמה לאויביך, as you wage war against your enemy. This is a time to wage war against your enemies. Who are our enemies? Okay, so sometimes we think our family are the enemy because nobody knows to push our buttons better than our family, right? Sometimes it's the neighbors. They also know our weak spots, okay? Sometimes it's people in the government, police, all kinds of stuff that they just want some stuff that it doesn't sound reasonable. It's just why making life hard? And people on the road that cut you off. There's so many enemies. So many enemies. But if we really look at it spiritually, there's only one enemy. Only one enemy. Just to remind everyone, something that I say many times. There's no mitzvah, there's no precept in the Torah to be right. Being right, it's not about it. Okay? So a lot of people think that being right is the most important thing in the world, and it's not. Because sometimes, somebody comes to me and says, like, that person did that to me and did that to me, and I said I was upset. Wasn't I right? So yeah, you were right, but that's not wise. Don't you want to be the person? Yes, the other guy made a mistake. There's no doubt he made a mistake. You're right. But don't you want to be the person who settled the issue with wisdom and kindness and nice talk and wise talk? And you know what? When people think, yes, I prefer to be the person that settles it with wisdom and not with screaming and yelling, right? Why? Because this is the time to look inside and to look, what do I really want? Not what do I think I want. What do I really want? That there must be another option. Not to be right, but to be wise. To be the light. It also rhymes. Don't be right, be the light. Okay? And who do you prefer? Do you prefer to be the light, or do you prefer to be right? If you're right, you'll be dead right. Okay? And nobody wants to die. Basically. Truly. Now, why is it important to our time? Because some of the sages say, there's a verse that says about, King Solomon said, about, in Ecclesiastics, says that Matzah isha matzah tov. If you find a woman, you find good. So that applies also that when you get married to the right person, a woman can make from a husband a righteous man. She can also mess his life up. Depends on his tikkun. Correct? But there's another way to apply it. Matzah isha. Where is the woman from the Zodiac? Virgo. That's a woman. And whoever finds Virgo, that's a time to find what is good. And we know, in the beginning of the creation, everything was perfect. However, when everything is perfect, nobody needs you. That's a big problem with human beings, because they need to be needed, to feel that you're making a difference. So the Creator had to mess everything up so we can fix it. And by fixing it, we can find, when you bring this, let's say, piece of furniture from IKEA, and I build it. You build it? You did, you went to the mess? No, you just compose it, right? It's more like a jigsaw puzzle for grown-ups, okay? So, but you feel like you built it. There's kind of satisfaction because you put it together, the same thing. The world is messed up. Not like in a carpentry, but like in IKEA. The pieces are there, you just have to put them together, and surprisingly, it's so surprising how the pieces are so close to each other. And the moment you get into the right consciousness, suddenly, wow, it was there all the time. Wow, how did you know to bring that exactly what I need? Because the Creator, He did most of the job. He just let us put it together. And how do we feel when we put it together? Amazing. like creators, co-creators. However, to do that, we need also to overcome the enemy, the dark side, the other side, the opponent, whatever you name it, the false part of our personality. That part that is working very hard all day long, all our lives, to convince us that him, it's us, right? Because when I'm upset, I don't really want to be upset. I mean, I don't want you. That's part of me. No, it's not. Again, I'll ask you again. How many people do you know that normally, when they wake up in the morning and you ask them, what is it that you want to feel today, they will tell you, I can't wait to hate somebody. How many people do that? No. If you ask a person, you wake up in the morning, everything is quiet. Let's say, not everybody wakes up this way, but let's say everything is quiet, and you ask, how do you want to feel today? The majority, overwhelming majority, will tell you, I want to feel good, happy. So why would we get upset? Because we don't ask the question. We forget to ask the question. And even if we ask the question and we set the goal, we forget. And sometimes we don't forget, but we cannot focus. Yeah, I want to be happy, and that issue is getting me out of focus. Oops, I found myself. I know I shouldn't do that. Why did I do it? Oh, we have the evil inclination. Hello? We are not alone. We said it. Last week's reading, yesterday, on Shabbat, Parashat Shoftim, it said, Ki-Tetse lemilchama al oivecha. As you wage war on your enemy, and then you saw a horse. You fight an enemy, you see a horse, you find a lot of horses. Rechev, a vehicle. One vehicle? Many of them. That's not a war. If you're one horse and one vehicle, that's not a war, that's a little fight. Right? That's not a war. Yeah, but the real fight is when you go to fight all these enemies, as it says here, you think at this and this and this and this and this, you realize that there's only one enemy. That false self inside that is pretending to be me. Yeah, I'm really upset. No, I'm not. I want to be happy and I want to be wise and I don't want to be upset. Why? Even it says all doctors are saying being upset is not good for you. Why should I do something that is not serving my interest? Correct? We do that. Why do we do that? A lot of people say, no, it's nonsense. I ask you again. How many of you know about things that it's not very hard to do them, but if you do them, your life will be tremendously better, and you still don't do them? Huh? Most of us. Why? How many things we know we shouldn't do? It's not so hard not to do them. We know our life are going to be much better if we don't do them, and we still do them. Even very intelligent people. Correct? So why are we doing it? Why are we doing again and again stuff that we know it's not good for us? And again we do not do things that we know it's good for us. It's called the evil inclination. We all have a split personality. Because we have to overcome the dark side in order to gain the good side. And Matzah Isha Matzah Tov, it's the time in the year that it's the easiest to find the good side of our personality and to associate with it. This is the time. This is the time to look inside and to sift through all kinds of emotions and memories and to say, you know what? That's me. I can associate with it. That should not be me. This is not really me. This is an add-on, like a virus. And I need to eliminate it from my life. Why this week? Because this is the time this week to wage war. As it says, as you go to fight your enemies, then you realize, go back to last parasha, he's big as a horse. What's a vehicle? Rechev. He's riding over you, your body. Your body is on his side, usually, right? We know our body is usually on his side, not on my side. It's like when I want to read the Zohar, because I didn't do any scanning, any reading this today, and I'm sitting there after a hard day, I should read the Zohar. I'm too tired even to get to pick up the book. A few minutes later that I'm in half a coma, Suddenly I remember there's amazing ice cream in the freezer. Like you get superpowers. In no time, you're already there by the fridge, right? You cross like 5 times the length that you had to get the one Zohar just for the ice cream. So whose side is your body? The dark side, not your side. Forget it. He's on the enemy side. Okay, but he's so big. And what it says, you wage war, and God will give him in your hand. You just have to start the war. Of course you can't finish the war. You don't have the power. You're flesh and blood. But if you have God on your side, if you have the light, what's stronger? The light or the darkness? Huh?
The light.
The light, of course the light. Did you ever doubt?
Yes.
When he turned the light on, how long does it take the darkness to get out? No time. Where did it go to? Who cares? Right? Because who's stronger? The light. You just have to focus on that. So that's why it says, as you wage war against your enemies, then God will give him. Plural, you think that there are many of them. No. When you wage war, you realize there's only one. Because when we do not get upset, when we get enlightened, when we realize this is what the game is about, and then we connect to the light, we realize there's only one enemy. The enemy within. The moment I'm connecting to the light of the Creator, all the wisdom, all the power, all the energy, all the good fortune is on my side. I just have to connect to it. And when I connect to it, then the answers will come, the help will come, the common sense will come, the ability to stand for yourself. Everything and whatever will happen, it will come out right. But instead of fighting the real enemy, you try to fight all kind of, how do you call it, fake enemies, symptoms. You find yourself more exhausted, more desperate, more negative, more tired, and you didn't get any winning. Right? That's how it works. This is a time to learn how to wage a real war. That's the real holy war. The war of becoming holy. And you can become holy only by connecting to the light. And how do you know you connect to the light? Let's remember again, Rabbi Akiva, love others as you love yourself. How do you know I connected to the light? I have more love towards other people. So simple. So embarrassing. How many times we tell ourselves, oh, I'm so much connected to the light, but these people really upset me. So you're not connected to the light. If you love the Creator, you like His creatures. Yeah, but they're not perfect. Ah, and you are perfect? How come the Creator has patience for all of us? He knows we have to go through our way, and the most sweetest peach is terrible tasting when it's still on the tree, right? And the farmer waits with anticipation for the right date will be just ripe as it should be. And all that time till then, it doesn't look good, it doesn't taste good, it doesn't smell good. Why? That's the way life is about. So if people are sour, hard, bitter, it's because they're not ripe yet. Have some patience. Everybody will be. It says in the book of Samuel, Ki lo idach mimeno nidach. No one will be cast away. Everybody was created by the same Creator. Everybody has to be ripe for the right time. And there's no exemptions. It's a big philosophical question, issue, but first of all, remember that. Okay? So the fact that people are not ready yet, by the way, the ones who are ready, they're already in the big fridge. They're in Gan Eden, in the heaven, waiting for the others to get ripe. Right? And the fact that you are here is not because you came to help everyone, it's because you have to get ripe also. Okay? So have patience when you're getting ripe with others. Okay? Now, so it says, and God will give him in your hand. And you get his captivity. His captivity should be and Veshavita Shivyo should be Veshavita Mimeno Sheva. Shevi, and you get captivities from him. What do you mean his captivities? Say the sages, it's the captivity that they took from you, your soul. They took it in captivity. If you wage a war, you'll find your soul in captivity. And finally, you can own your soul. You can really connect to the true self. Why is that important? Remind everyone. Parashat Ki-Tetse is always being read 3 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the big judgment day. That's the big war. This is the war that all our negativity from all lifetimes come to that day, which is Judgment Day. Yom Hadin, Rosh Hashanah. Why it's a Judgment Day? Because this is the day that the Creator feeds every human being with speed charging. You know what happens when there's speed charging? You get hot. Judgments. Judgments. When you get... So if the device is wired properly and it's really fixed and it's properly and the battery is healthy, everything, it's going to be charged speedy and complete in no time. But if the machine is not so good and there's some rust and some debris and then there is a conflict between the charge, the high charge that is coming in, and the resistance that the machine is making, and then the device can go on fire. Doesn't happen? That machines, while being charged, are going to fire. You read on the paper all the time about this. Who wants to go on fire? So Leonard Cohen wrote the song, Who by Fire? Because it says on Rosh Hashanah, they are going to be written down. All of them. Who's to life, who's to death? Who by fire, who by water? Who by sword, who by plague? Right? So he took it from that, who by fire. Why by fire? Because if you're going to get burned up on Rosh Hashanah, then you're going to feel the rest of the year. Either the person won't make it to the next Rosh Hashanah, or he's going to make it by that next Rosh Hashanah, but he looks back and says, like, what a year. You know, maybe I shouldn't have taken that year in the first place, because that was like, wow. Why? Where were you when the Creator gave you the charging? Oh, I was busy being right. I was busy blaming. I was busy whatever. With all the false self. That's the army of the prosecutor attorney. That's the army of the dark side that blocks the flow of bliss into our lives. So we'll better prepare ourselves before we get there, right? Before we get to Rosh Hashanah. So you can have an amazing, fulfilling Rosh Hashanah in one condition. That the Creator is giving endless. The question is, are you ready to receive so much? Or maybe it's time to do not spring cleansing, but fall cleansing. To go through all of our emotions, all our belief systems, and go and say, like, what really supports a goal that is worthwhile living? And what does not? Who am I, and what do I really want to achieve in my life? That's the most important thing. Which means, when I return to connect to the true me, to that soul that is in captivity, you can't see it because there's so much noise around it. So once I think I want this, and once I think I want that, and then I think I want that, and I really don't have an idea what do I really want. How do I know? I'm not happy. I'm simply not happy. How do I know? I'm not nice to other people. When you're happy, you're nice to everyone. Why? Why not? When you're happy, why not? I don't need any excuse to be nice to somebody. When you're happy, you're nice to everyone. Why? It feels good. It's great. Why not? When you need justification, when you're not happy, then you know you're not supposed to hurt other people. You get, they deserved it. Okay? They asked for it. Okay? They were wrong. It seems that you're not happy. You're just trying to give yourself excuses. You're not happy, period. Okay? That means something is wrong with you, not with them. So when we're talking about seeing the beautiful woman, finding a beautiful soul and holding on to it and cleansing it. This is the time, but you have to wage war. You have to decide you're fighting for who you are, who you want to be. If you're not going to fight, you're not going to win. If you can just say like, wow, should I? Why should I? How could I? I tried, I never made it. Is that an excuse? That's not an excuse. Giving up means dying. That's what Rav Ashlag is saying. Giving up means aging. When do you feel old? When you gave up. When you don't think it's going to be better. And aging is kind of a criminal offense because it's death sentenced. Right? Which means there are people who stay young for many, many years. It's a matter of consciousness. Why? Because they think things are going to get better. And they do behave this way. And that's why they stay young. Okay, and that affects also the metabolism of the body. How do you know this is so important? Because if you go to the end of the parasha, what do we read in the end of the parasha Ki-Tetse? The most important paragraph of the whole Torah. We read that on a chapter. Just a second. We read that on Okay. This is on chapter 25, verse 17. Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek. Remember what the Amalek did to you. This is the paragraph we read in Parashat Zachor before Purim. That paragraph, when you're reading that, nobody is an exemption from reading that. Everybody has to go. Sick, old, wheelchair, doesn't matter. You have to come. Why? Because the biggest enemy is that Amalek. The Amalekites. What's Amalekites? It's not just a nation, it's a consciousness. Amalek, numerical value 240, which is Safek, doubt. The moment you have a doubt, you have an excuse why not to go for war. You don't go for war, game over. The game is over. It doesn't matter how old you are. Game over. Being a person means that you're fighting against your dark side and you're never giving up. And you fall 7 times, a righteous person will fall and get up. Being righteous doesn't mean you don't fall. But the Amalek will tell you, oh, you fell already twice, this is over. You'll never get up. Fighting the Amalek is the biggest mitzvah. Fighting that Amalek, fighting that doubt. And fighting to have the certainty that, if I'm going to wage a war against my dark side, it's going to do something? Of course it will. Of course it will. You just have to go for war. And maybe you're not going to win all the way. But if by the end of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, you're a little bit better than you've been, you won this round. And then there will be other rounds. Don't worry. But with the rounds, you get more certainty and you get more courage. And then you go farther and farther till you just give him one blow after another. And you have no choice. You have to win. You don't win, you come another time. Then you have another round and another round and another round. Some knockouts and so on. And then you get up and you start all over again till you win. You have no other choice. You have to get ripe. Remember that. You have no choice about that. How long would it take? How many rounds? About that we have a choice. Now here comes a very important thing. This is the month of Teshuvah, which means you have to go back to the good aspect of yourself and connect to it, because that will connect you to the source of life, sustenance, bliss, happiness, health, whatever we're looking for, and good luck. Okay? So, the story about this guy who looked for a sales agent. So it was a very famous company, and when they advertised, they got like thousands of requests for the applications for the job. So General manager, when he's going through all the files, and go another file, another file, another file. So this, no, 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 no. He got like this pile of files that everybody fit for the job. He takes half of it into the garbage. So partner says like, what did he do? Says, they have to be qualified, but also I don't want people with no luck. These ones who went to the garbage don't have luck, so I don't want them. Right? You need to be, they can be qualified, but they're not lucky. So they can't help me. And being lucky is what we create during the next few weeks. Being lucky. That's how we open, by connecting to our true self and returning. That's called tshuva. Tshuva is not repentance. Repentance is something from the Dark Ages. Remorse. I'm repenting because I'm terrible. No. Tshuva means returning. I'm returning to the original, way I was created, to the real me. That's returning. I'm returning my connection back to the tree of life. This is tshuva. This is the time of tshuva. So that's why we're doing it. So now, when we do that, then there is another condition. You can find it on chapter 22, verse 5. כי תבנה בית חדש, ועשית מעקה לגגיך, ולא תשים דמים בביתך, כי ייפול הנופל ממנו. Okay, there are many lessons from this verse. As you build a new house, you should make a railings around the roof, so you do not put blood into your home. כי ייפול הנופל ממנו. So the one who is falling from it would not fall from it. What is that? Repeating. Don't put blood in your new home, so the one who falls from it, who's falling from it, won't fall from it. Rashi says, the great commentator from the 11th century, France, Champagne. Some say he invented champagne. Okay? This guy, ki ייפול הנופל, so the one who is falling from the roof, says Rashi, ראוי זה ליפול. The one who fell from the roof, he was supposed to fall from the roof. There's nothing you could have done about it. ואף על פי כן לא תתגלגל מיטתו על ידך. However, yes, he's supposed to fall from the roof, but why is it supposed to be from your roof? Why? Because שמגלגלים זכות על ידי זכאי וחובה על ידי חייב. When somebody has a merit, he will get more merit. When somebody has a fault, he'll get more faults. Which means, if you're already on a negative side, so somebody will fall from your roof. You want it or not, you build a railing or not, he will fall from your roof. Now you'll have guilt, you have the law, you have his family, whatever around, you have this mess, who knows how long. Why should you have it in your life? Build a railing. But remember, if somebody fell from there, it's not because of you. He was supposed to fall. If he fell because you did not put a railing, it's because you did not earn the right by being careless. He did not have earn the right to have better things happening to you. So, why I'm saying it? Rosh Hashanah is coming, and it's a time for, as I said, remorse and regret, and a lot of people come with that to Rosh Hashanah. And as the Talmud is saying, don't you ever, we said it last week, don't you ever mention all your shame and all your guilt on Rosh Hashanah while blowing the shofar. You're in court. Don't incriminate yourself. Don't even think about it. Why? Because what you focus on, that's what you become. Focus on what you want. Don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what you should have become. Do not focus on what happened. But I hurt that person. You think you really can hurt somebody else? It says, the Talmud says, a person can't move on his little finger unless he gets a permission from above. How come you hurt him? It was allowed to hurt him. And you know what? If you didn't hurt him, somebody else will hurt him. That's part of his tikkun. The part of your tikkun is, why did you have to hurt him? Why were you chosen to be the vehicle, the agent, for hurting somebody else? That's about you being wrong. Something is wrong with you. But if you didn't do it, somebody else will do it to him. Oh, because if I didn't do it, then he will be still alive. He won't be alive anyway. You couldn't have changed that. What you could change it, that issue won't be part of your karma, of your tikkun. Is that clear? Because we carry so much guilt, and guilt is so illegal in the spiritual world. Why it's illegal? Because guilt doesn't make you a better person. Guilt makes you stuck, drains you. You know that something is wrong, fix it. How? Walk about it. Fix it. Yeah, but the guy is dead. You cannot bring him back to life, but you can do a lot of good things that will, even the karma. And as we said, this is something that is very important. We're about, making it even, balancing ourselves. We spoke about it last week. It's about balancing. So, you were too angry, now you have to work on not being angry, but to be more into the side of, loving and kindness and stuff like this, till you balance that negativity you put in the universe. So do extra actions of kindness to fix that negativity. But going on with the guilt, you're burning inside. How do you help the universe? By punishing yourself. You do not. You're not nice to people when you're full of guilt, right? You have no patience. Your ability, your productivity of doing good for others is not so well. You have to admit it. When you're full of guilt and remorse. So what's the only way? The only way is to be happy and excited. But I've done so many terrible things. Being happy and excited. This is the fire that can burn all of these negativities, because only when you're happy and excited, you can really make amends. You can really fix stuff. When you make other people happy, we get them excited about life. That's how you can fix the bad stuff you've done. That's how you balance the world with all the negativity that you created before. That's how you remove those terrible angels of darkness you've created. So you come to Rosh Hashanah, you don't have so many blocking the arteries of your soul. Okay? But what about the beginning? Ki tivneh bayit chadash, as you build a new house. No, so Rabbi as a Chloe say, not everybody has the opportunity to build a new house. Let's say if you always bought a house that was already built with railings, or let's say it has a tile roof. You don't put railings. Nobody walks over there. You should not. What if every time you lived in a house, in the bottom floor, and somebody else lived in the top? What if you never owned a house? So you're not supposed. So you have to come again? There's a question. If you never had the opportunity, you can come as an ibur, help somebody build his own house, and then build the railing. But there's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to build a railing. There's a bracha to say when you build the railing to your house. Asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asot ma'akeh. Okay? But it doesn't say if you build the house. It says as you build the house. You know why? Because when a person is doing tshuva during Elul and the holidays, you're building yourself as a new house. So the Rambam, the Maimonides, says, if a person really did tshuva, he's a new person. He's a new construction. He's a new house. So all the bad stuff go to the old address. But you're now living in a new address because you built a new house. You have a different outlook at life. You have a different perspective. You have a different set of belief system. You are different. You're new. And because you're new, you're not supposed to get what the old you was supposed to get. And that means what it means. It's like, just think about it. Like the Creator is saying, you know what? Let's make a deal. You forget about what you did, and I'll forget about it too. But first, let me see you forgetting what you did. How do you know you forget what you did? You don't do it again. You are now the person that even though you have the opportunity, you'll never do it again this way. You'll never mess it up this way. Why? Because you're new construction, you're new creation. But when you set from yourself a new creation, you need to put railings. What do you mean railings? Legagecha, to your roof. Where's your roof? This is your roof. What sits over here? Your brain? Your brain sits over here. Your consciousness sits over here. You really constructed a new person out of yourself? This time, be careful. The railings have to be set. There are places you don't go anymore. There are this stuff you do not, there's certain people you're not supposed to listen to anymore. Why? You know they had bad effect. You know the last times you listened to these people, it didn't go far, right? That's a railing. You have to set up some boundaries. You know, people who were alcoholics again and again and again. One of the things I learned, don't go to any places that have smell, vapors of alcohol. Why? You have to put a railing around your roof. Do not put yourself into a place in which the whole thing will come up and you know you're still susceptible. Why? You've done it in the past. So, this is the time to put railings, which means there are certain places that I used to go, it didn't help my consciousness, so maybe I should not. There are certain people I used to listen to, but it never did me good. You know what? Should be polite and tell them they're busy. Or like try to get them involved in spiritual stuff. Whatever, just do not put the boundaries not to go back to the same places your consciousness went. And you know, when you go there consciously, then if you continue to think the way you used to think, you continue to get what you used to get. Well, what's complicated about it? So that's a railing. That's a boundaries. That's the being careful not to allow certain thoughts, consciousness, certain experiences to approach your mind, because you know it didn't work. It didn't work. Ma'akeh tasim legagecha. Okay. So, but then there's another few verses later. There's another mitzvah. And that mitzvah is weird. I know some female people will be very upset. I know, I get upset every time I read it, before I read the Zohar. Because it says as follows. We are reading right now, verse 13, same chapter 22. Ki kach ish isha uva elea usna'a. As a person takes a woman, comes to her and he hates her. What happens after you hate somebody? You're trying to figure out why it's their fault. Correct? That's what happens. He hates her. Vesam la lilot dvarim. He starts to badmouth her. Ve'otzi alea shem ra. Bad name about her. Ve'amar et ha'isha zot lakachti. And let's say he said, I took that woman and she was not a virgin. In the old world and some places on this planet, that could be that sentence, right? Till today, unfortunately. ולקח אבי הנערה ואימה והוציאו את בתולי הנערה אל זקני העיר שרה. So the father and the mother of the girl will take the proof that she was virgin, you know, the sheet of the night of the wedding, and they bring it to court. And the father will say, I gave my daughter to that man, he hates her, and now he badmouths her. And they will show the sheet to everyone. So now the court will punish the husband, right? That bad mouth is no wife. They will fine him 100 silver coins. He will pay those 100 silver coins to whom? The father of the bride. Because he badmouthed the Virgin of Israel, which is a name of the Shekhinah. not of a private single woman. That's expression. And then listen to what's coming up. ולא תהיה לאישה לא יוכל לשלחה כל ימיו. And she will stay his wife, he could never divorce her all his life. The poor girl, now she has to stay with him. It looks like her punishment. What are we talking about? Says the Zohar, this is a deep thing. And why is it a deep thing? Because you read the Torah, if you don't know Kabbalah, you can start having doubts about the Torah, about Moses, about the Creator, about the rest of the world. It's like, and you know, it's all about consciousness. All about consciousness, nothing but consciousness. So some people have terrible consciousness. They, maybe if they believe in God, they're very upset about it. Because he's the one he's to be blamed for everything. It's all about, if he's about everything and about everywhere, it's his fault. So they hate him. Okay? But the sages are saying, evil does not come from above. Evil is coming from the lack of God. When we, as we said, we block God from coming in, that's where darkness is coming in. Darkness has no essence of itself. Darkness is the absence of light. Correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. So says the Zohar, and that's very clear. That's the beginning of the Zohar on Parashat Ki-Tetse. Zohar Sulam, it says as follows. There are many stories. The Zohar is reminding a few stories. There are many stories in the Torah, in the whole Tanakh itself, that people like, whoa, this is terrible. How could that, King David's story about Bathsheba, all kinds of stuff. If you read it simply the way it's written, you can easily find yourself in, of course, in that place. But you said like, if this is the Torah, this is the Tanakh, these are the books, the holy books, why should I believe in that stuff? And the Zohar says, Aval Chachamim, verse 3. Chachamim, but wise people, Oy le'elu she'ochlim teven v'shibolim shel Torah. Woe to those who eat the straw of the Torah. Why? Because we mentioned many times before that Rabbi Shimon is saying people who study just the literal meaning of the Torah. There's a simplistic way of understanding the Torah and the mitzvot and the tradition. This is so dry. It's like you plant wheat, and when the harvest time is coming, after the harvest, you throw away the grains and you eat the straw. And the straw is very dry, right? That's what happens to a person that is connected only to the external part of the Torah. You're missing the real thing, because when you plant wheat, you plant it for the grain so you can make bread out of it. Not for the straw. The straw is a byproduct. The grain is the real thing. It's like so, but when you look at the field of wheat, what do you see? The grain? No. You see the straw. And you think, oh, that's what it is. What am I going to do with it? Stupid. You've never seen wheat, right? A lot of people, kids will think, bread grows on the shelves of the supermarket. That's where it grows. The magical growths. When you go home to sleep, in the morning, the bread grows on the shelves because, you've been with your mom or your dad in the supermarket in the evening, and there was no bread on the shelves. In the morning, you come full of bread, so it grew up over there, just by itself, correct? If you don't teach them, they think it happened by itself. That's how life is. If you do not learn that that's how bread grows, and then you put aside the straw, and you take the grain and you grind them and you make flour and then you make bread and stuff like this, you look at the field of wheat and you say like, what's the use for that? I'm not going to eat that stuff. That's for cows, right? Woe to those who eat the straw of the Torah, says the Zohar. Which means their learning Torah is a mixture of everything. grain and straw, and they can't tell the difference. אינו יודע בסתרי תורה, they don't know Kabbalah. אלא קלים וחמורים של התורה, they just know to study Torah so they can understand what's right, what's wrong. You know, if this is wrong, that should be also wrong, and by deduction and so on and so forth. And your life is full with right and wrong and allowed, not allowed, kosher, not kosher, and you think that's the way it is. You know what? If you raise kids with that consciousness, they feel like you put them in jail. So much not to do. So much you should be avoiding fun. No, halacha, the Jewish law, is not about not having fun. It's about, very simple. Let's say you're a child and you have a tricycle. How many laws you need to know in order to ride tricycles? You know, tricycles, they can like work for a few generations. Okay, of kids. Maintenance, there's no maintenance. It's very simple. What the rules you have to know to ride them? Not so many rules, because you can ride them around the house like in a... That's it. But let's say you become a pilot. You have to learn so many rules. Because the engine is so powerful. Because one little mistake can be terminal. Right? So, you have to be really careful. Very careful. There's a lot of rules that you have to learn. What do you do then? But after you know the rules, it's not about the rules. When you know the rules and you really have them ingrained in you, you can enjoy flying. Correct? That's why you have to know the halacha. When you know the rules, you can enjoy living. But if you make the rules as the main thing, it's like you turn the means into the cause. And then you're so busy with wrong and what's allowed, what's not allowed, you have no time to live. You forgot. It's all about no, it's not about the rules. It's about flying. It's all about flying. The rules are means to get you to the place they can fly. Because you understand the process. What's the shorish of the word halacha? Hey lamed kaf. Holech. That's how it goes. That's how the process goes. When you understand how it is, that's called being professional. Professional person knows how it goes, and that's why he can get the best results. Because he's not busy all the time with what's wrong and what's not allowed. He's busy doing the job because he knows the rules. Right? If he's a surgeon, if he's a mechanic, whatever. He can enjoy it because he knows the rules. Being a human being, you have to know the rules. If you know, when you know the rules, you can live finally, because you know this is safe, this is not safe, that's good for me, that's not good for me. Okay, it says about the Chafetz Chaim. You know, the guy who wrote the book about bad mouthing, about Lashon Hara, a book that thick. It says when whoever knew him, he was talking all the time. So somebody in Ramos came and said with a chutzpah, "You, the rabbi who wrote that book about bad mouthing, about Lashon Hara, you are talking all the time?" So the rabbi looked at him and smiled and says, "Yes, because I know all the rules. I know how to talk. You don't know the rules, you shouldn't talk." That's very simple. And this is why we get to the next stage. It says, "Hakadosh Baruch Hu michutz limkomo eno melech." The Creator, when he's out of his place, is not the king. What means when he's out of his place? When you really think, consciousness, it's all about consciousness, that the Creator is not powerful enough to take over and to run the show, then in your world, he cannot run the show. Why? Because you blocked him out. When you leave him out of your world, how would you see? So we said it many times scientifically. It was checked and proven that pessimistic people are right, and optimistic people are also right. If you let God in, then, and you know that He's there everywhere, that's your consciousness, and you see God in everything, then you will feel that, and that your life is going to be full with the light of God. But the moment you say there's no God, He's not here. He's not, if there is a God, He's evil. Your consciousness will create a reality. Because that's why your consciousness is what creates everything. Why do you study Zohar? Why do you study Torah? Why do you study Kabbalah? It's all to create a better consciousness, because it's all about consciousness. There's nothing but consciousness. And it's all about our relationship with the Creator. Nothing else. When we have a great relationship with the Creator, how does your life look like? Great, because you see God everywhere. You see the light everywhere. The light comes at your help. Why? Because you wage war and you know the light is there. So you're not even surprised. It says about Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. It's a very famous story. He was very poor. Very, very, very poor. It means his wife was also very poor. Friday comes. Everybody's baking challah and making food. They have no penny. They have nothing. So the neighbors, so they won't be ashamed in front of the neighbors, so his wife takes dry leaves, she put in the oven, so smoke will come out of the chimney. So it looks like she's baking. But she has a vicious neighbor. And the neighbor wanted one day, Friday, she saw the smoke and she wanted to shame Rabbi Hanina's wife. She gets in to go to the oven. Hey, neighbor, how are you? What are you baking? And she runs to the oven. Rabbi Hanina, his wife, it says she was melumedet benisim. Miracles were for her like part of life. So she knew God is not going to allow her to be ashamed. So what her reaction is, when the neighbor is running to the oven, she runs to bring, how do you call this thing that takes the bread out of the, this big spatula, Yeah. How do you call, you don't bake in the bakery anymore. Okay, she runs to bring that thing to get the bread out, because as the neighbor opens the door of the oven to shame Rabbi Hanina's wife, the neighbor decided to scream, neighbor, the challah is going on fire, it's getting too hot. Rabbi Hanina's wife is running with that to take the chalot out. She had such a certainty. There's no way she's going to be ashamed. That certainty created the challah. That night, the story continues. She says to her husband, Rabbi Hanina, look, this kind of life, I don't know if that's what God wants from us. Maybe you should ask for something. Maybe you never asked. So he prayed, and he prayed, and he prayed. And as he prayed, a hand came from the heavens with a piece of gold. He took it. It looks like a leg, a very nice leg of a table. Wow, now we have enough gold to be rich for the rest of our lives. So, she's happy. She's happy, I'm happy. They go to sleep. In her dream, she sees herself and her husband sitting in the Garden of Eden. All the tzaddikim are sitting there with their wives to a table with 4 legs. And only they sit with a table with 3 legs. Well, 1 leg is already here. She wakes up in the moment and says, Hanina, tell them to take it back. I'm not going to sit with a table with 3 legs up in heaven. Let them take it back. Tell them we just changed our minds. I don't care. The neighbor wants to shame me. That's okay. I don't want to sit in heaven with a table of 3 legs. He prays. A hand comes from heaven, takes a leg. And the sage was saying the second miracle was much more powerful than the first one. You asked for it, right? She said, if we are supposed to be poor, it's okay. I don't have a problem with that. Not everybody's supposed to be rich, but everybody's supposed to be happy. And being happy is being rich. Because when you're happy, everything is great. And when you're miserable, all riches in the world is not going to, it's going to even make it worse. Because you say, what's wrong with me? I have so much and I don't have anything. So that's what the Zohar is saying. So the Creator is the king only if we make him our king. And that's why one of the most important part of Rosh Hashanah is to make the Creator our king. And what does it mean? To understand that the Creator is everywhere. If the Creator is everything, and then everything is great and everything is good. And even if it doesn't look good, it is good. And you know what? It's like a prophecy that is self-fulfilling. The moment you decide it's going to be good, it's going to be good. That's how life works. How did we say? Optimistic people, they are more lucky. Why? They are so convinced that they are lucky. So they're going to be lucky. Because they invite good luck into their lives. And people are always bitter. No, I'm not lucky. I'll never be lucky. Even if they will be lucky, they won't see the opportunity. They'll miss it. They'll miss it again and again and again. And therefore, our job and our tikkun, it says, God is not the king unless you make him your king. And that's why it says about Israel, Kol Israel bnei melachim. All Israel are sons of the king. And like the father, כמו האב, כן הבנים אינם בני מלכים עד שיחזרו לארץ ישראל. Like the father, so the kings, till they come back to Israel. They are not going to be the kings anymore. Only when they come back. ואם תאמר שזה הרוכב על החמור הוא אידיוט. They said Messiah who should come walk riding on a donkey. You know what does it mean? A white donkey. Because what's the donkey? Only in Hebrew. You understand that? Donkey is chamor. Chamor is also the same word as chomer. Chomer means materialism. If you want humanity to experience the Messianic time, we have to be riding over the donkey and not like today that the donkey is riding over us. Correct? So why the Messiah has to be riding a donkey? Would he really be riding a donkey? I don't think so. It's an expression saying that riding on a donkey means if you don't ride your body, if you don't ride this, all of this like materialism that is going wild around us, how much you have, how much you make, whatever, and being a slave to it, which means he's riding over you. Messiah is not coming. Messianic time is when we learn to ride over the donkey. White one. Why white? Dark one, black one, is taking for itself. White means that we use matter in order to help others. Because that's what the color white means. What I mean, something is white, every light it gets, it gives back. Whatever you get, you use it in order to help others. That's a white donkey. Riding over it. So, but it says, but Adam that did not preserve the respect and the honor he got. He abused it by eating the tree from the tree of knowledge. Because of that, it says that he went down so low, says the Zohar, הורידו אותו שיאכל יחד עם חמורו באבוס אחד. It says, אני וחמורי נאכל באבוס אחד. It says in the Talmud Psachim, page 111, in 12 and 18, side 1. I am eating with my donkey in the same trough. You understand now what he's talking about. I'm so low. I'm eating straw like my donkey. Which means I'm so materialistic right now after the sin. I'm so puzzled. I'm so mixed up. My consciousness is so low. And our job is to fix it, which means lift ourselves up. Above and above and above. What can lift us up more than studying Kabbalah? Because that's supposed to lift our consciousness to the highest places. And then you're not a donkey anymore. ויששכר זכה בחמור הזה להיקרות, יששכר, the tribe of Issachar, that was wise people. They were most of the heads of the Sanhedrin were from the tribe of Issachar, because Issachar, chamor gerem, chamor garem. He is a donkey. What do you mean a donkey? because he controlled and learned how to overpower that materialism, that donkey. And that's why his people were the wisest people. So, why is that connected to what we say? Because the moment we do not study the depths of Kabbalah, we just like, in no time. No, I don't agree with that. Oh, this is upsetting. Where was God when? And how's God? And you're just all the time judging God. If there's no God, why are you judging him? If you're judging him, do you really think that God is so low as you think? Okay? There's no bigger picture. That's why you need to study to the depths in order to understand how intricate is this universe, how everything is connected. Even if it looks disconnected, it is connected. When somebody falls from the roof, he was supposed to fall from the roof since Rosh Hashanah already. Why he fell from your roof? You have to ask yourself, what have I done? What is that I'm doing that he fell from my roof? But if I was a better person, he won't fall from the roof. He would fall from somebody else's roof. He would fall from your roof. He'll jump over the fence. It won't be your fault. The fact that you're going around with this guilt is because you have no idea how this universe works. Yes, you cannot bring him back to life, and whatever you're going to do was not supposed to keep him alive. Because how much really we can get involved with somebody else's life? Only, says the Zohar, when you help people to change their consciousness, and from a consciousness of a donkey eating straw, people start to really fight, give a great fight for their lives. The Zohar says when you bring a person to that level, it says about you that you created that person. Why? He was considered dead. He was simply dying a long, painful death for who knows how many years. The moment you got him into the business of fighting to be a real warrior, fighting for his life, fighting for his consciousness, for his connecting to the light, now he lives in a different world. And because you caused it, you are the cause, you created him. All the doors in heaven are open for you. So, you really want to open the doors in heaven, says Dari? Says the Zohar. Help other people to see better, to get out of this criticism. We're in the month of Virgo. Oh, it's so very easy to criticize other people and do nothing. Instead of criticizing, you see something wrong, you can fix it, fix it. You can't fix it, make somebody else fix it. You can't go and fix something you can fix. But sitting there and criticizing other people, what's the use? That's what you have to do, Tshuva. Is that what you really want? Is that the calling that you're here in this world for? This is the search that we have to make deep inside. And this month it's much easier to find the true self, the true destiny, the true me that each one of us want to become, and fight for it. And if you go to fight for it, just waging war, the Creator will be on your side. When you're having a party like this for the duel, you won already. That's why it says, and when you wage war, it doesn't say you have to fight. It says you won already. You already won. Just go for the war. Thank you so much. Shavua Tov, Chodesh Tov, Shana Tova.